Belen records a farewell video for her boyfriend Adrian. She chooses to end the relationship this way to avoid a painful argument. Even though she still loves him deeply, she asks him not to look for her anymore. That same night, Adrian tries to drown his emotions by going to a bar alone. He sits there with a heavy expression on his face. Fabiana, one of the waitresses, notices him and tells the bar manager that she does not like seeing men look that sad. The manager casually assumes that a sad man must be feeling guilty about something, but Fabiana does not fully agree with that idea. Adrian keeps drinking until closing time. When Fabiana brings the bill, she offers to help him since he is clearly intoxicated. But Adrian insists on leaving by himself. Just outside the bar, he accidentally bumps into someone, which quickly turns into a fight, and Adrian ends up getting hit. Seeing this, Fabiana rushes out to help him. She decides to drive him away from the scene. Even in his drunken state, Adrian's hands move instinctively, following the rhythm of the music playing in the car. It becomes clear that he is a conductor, someone deeply connected to music. When they arrive at Fabiana's apartment, Adrian falls asleep and does not wake up until morning. The next day, Fabiana offers him a drink and introduces herself properly. Adrian is briefly suspicious about how she knows his name, but she explains that he told her everything the night before. Not wanting to stay any longer, Adrian quickly leaves. At orchestra rehearsal, Adrian struggles to focus. His mind is elsewhere, weighed down by everything that has happened. That night, he returns to the same bar. Fabiana serves him the same whiskey as before. This time, Adrian reaches out, holds her hand, and apologizes for how cold he acted earlier that morning. After leaving the bar together, Adrian brings Fabiana to his orchestra stage, and eventually they spend the night together. Not long after, Fabiana moves into Adrian's house. The next morning, Fabiana wakes up first and heads to the bathroom. As she brushes her teeth, something feels off. She notices there are two toothbrushes, and then she hears a strange sound coming from the water pipes. Something is not right here. This is the hidden face. Curious, Fabiana begins exploring the house. She notices Adrian's dog nearby and continues walking until she reaches a desk. Before she can think too much about it, Adrian calls her for breakfast. During breakfast, Fabiana asks why Adrian chooses to live so far from the city in such a quiet rural area. Adrian explains that he prefers silence and isolation. He then invites her to stay another night, and Fabiana agrees without hesitation. Just after breakfast, two unexpected guests arrive. They introduce themselves as detectives named Franco and Brando. They are there to ask about Belen. Franco reveals that Belen has not actually left Spain, based on information from immigration records. The detectives ask to search the house. They question Adrian about ownership and how long he's been living there. Adrian explains that he has been renting the place for 2 months. Franco then asks if Belen left anything behind. Adrian mentions a toothbrush in her work desk, which turns out to be the same desk Fabiana noticed earlier that morning. Fabiana grows more curious about what is really going on. Adrian explains that Belen left because she chose another man. He insists that the police visit is just routine and that Belen is not missing. He also claims he has already contacted her friends and family, but no one knows where she is. As the police continue their inspection, Fabiana keeps asking questions. Adrian suddenly loses his patience and snaps at her for pushing too much. That night, while Adrian plays the piano, Fabiana relaxes in the bathtub. As she lies there, she hears a strange thumping sound again. The water in the tub begins to move on its own, even though the shower is not running. She quickly sits up, and at that exact moment, thunder strikes and the lights go out. Then Adrian suddenly appears, startling her. Fabiana admits she does not like the lighting in the house. Adrian brushes it off, saying the lights tend to go out during storms. Soon after, the power comes back, and they continue their evening together. Still, something feels off. Fabiana notices Hans, Adrian's dog, sitting still and staring at the mirror. Adrian quickly sends the dog out of the room. The next night at work, Fabiana talks with Brando. He warns her that Adrian seems suspicious. His girlfriend disappeared, yet Fabiana is already involved with him. Fabiana responds casually, brushing off the concern. A few days later, Adrian performs as the conductor of an orchestra, and Fabiana is there watching. After the performance, Adrian introduces her to Tito, the orchestra manager. During their conversation, Adrian reveals that he plans to step down soon and continue his career elsewhere. Tito expresses his gratitude and pride for having worked with someone as talented as Adrian. The following day, while Fabiana is taking a shower, the water suddenly turns extremely hot and burns her shoulder. Later, as she dries her hair at the sink, she hears the strange noise from the pipes again. Spending more time alone in the house, Fabiana starts to feel restless. She waits for Adrian to come home, but as evening turns dark and the weather grows heavy, she wanders back inside. Out of boredom, she jumps around on the bed, then notices something unusual on the floor. She finds a necklace with a key attached to it and without hesitation, decides to try it. At that moment, lightning strikes again and the power goes out. Fabiana hears a sound coming from the living room near the piano. When she goes to check, Hans suddenly appears out of the darkness, scaring her so badly that she falls. Adrian arrives shortly after and helps treat her. Fabiana is now genuinely frightened. She does not want to be left alone and begins to believe there is something unnatural in the house. She brings Adrian to the bathroom to listen to the sound coming from the pipes. This time, he hears it too. Even so, he dismisses it as nothing more than wind moving through the plumbing. Fabiana is not convinced, but Adrian does not take it seriously and simply tries to reassure her in his own way. The next morning, Adrian receives a call from the detectives. A body has been found, and its characteristics match Belen. He is asked to come in and identify it, so he immediately leaves on his own. At the morgue, Franco explains that the body belongs to a young woman who was badly burned, making her face almost impossible to recognize. Adrian takes a look and confirms that it is not Belen. After that, he heads back home. In the parking area, Brando watches him from a distance, growing even more suspicious. When Adrian arrives home, he finds Fabiana standing in the bathroom, staring at the mirror. He begins to question her after noticing that books are scattered around the room. Fabiana calmly explains that she was just looking for something and was not talking to anyone. Adrian then tells her about the body that was found. He insists that it was not Belen and says that now, Fabiana is the only person left in his life. The story then shifts into a flashback, going back to the time when Adrian was still with Belen. Their life together seemed normal at first. Then Adrian receives an offer from Tito to work as a conductor for an orchestra, which requires him to move to Bogota for a year. He invites Belen to come with him, and she agrees. At one of his performances, Belen sits in the audience, in the exact same spot where Fabiana would later sit. After the show, she speaks with Tito before looking for Adrian. She eventually finds him talking with Victoria, a violinist in the orchestra. That is where they first meet. A few days later, Belen rents a house from a woman named Emma. This house later becomes the same place Adrian is living in now. It turns out that Hans is not Adrian's dog, but Emma's. Before leaving for Germany, Emma asks Belen to take care of Hans, knowing that Belen likes dogs. Belen works as a shoe designer and spends her days at a factory. After one of her shifts, she goes to the orchestra stage to meet Adrian. Tito helps guide her there, but what they find is unexpected. Adrian is alone in a room with Victoria. The situation immediately upsets Belen, and she leaves with Adrian. Her frustration continues to build once they get home. This is not the first time she has seen Adrian with Victoria, and the pattern is becoming hard to ignore. The next day, while Adrian is in the shower, Belen checks his phone. What she finds confirms her suspicions, messages, and call logs from Victoria. The next morning, while Belen is working on her designs, Adrian prepares to leave for work. Their conversation quickly turns tense. Belen confronts him about his frequent contact with Victoria. Adrian admits that he did flirt with her, but insists it never went further than that. With her emotions already unstable, Belen tells Adrian to just leave. She wants to be alone. Adrian does not argue and walks out. Not long after, Emma happens to visit. Belen opens up to her, sharing what she has been going through. Emma relates to her situation, explaining that her own husband has always been distant, more focused on his work than on her. Instead of offering comfort, Emma suggests something unusual. She tells Belen that maybe she should test Adrian. Then she reveals a hidden space inside the house, a secret room concealed behind a wardrobe. This is where everything begins to make sense. The strange sounds, the unexplained movements, all of it traces back to this hidden place. Emma explains that her husband built the room because he valued silence. It is completely soundproof, equipped with its own power source and speakers that allow someone inside to hear what is happening in the house. There is even a mirror that lets the person inside observe everything without being seen. After showing the room, Emma leaves. Belen then records the farewell video and carries her suitcases into the hidden room, planning to leave Adrian for good. In her rush, she scribbles a note before going inside, but everything goes wrong at the worst possible moment. As Hans starts barking at Adrian's arrival, Belen accidentally drops the key to the room. It falls outside, leaving her locked inside with no way out. Adrian enters the house and finds the video. He watches it, clearly shaken, and immediately tries to call Belen. But there is no response since there is no signal inside the room. From behind the mirror, Belen watches him search for her. She sees that he even brought flowers, as if he intended to apologize. Then suddenly his emotions shift. Frustration takes over, and he throws the flowers away. Seeing this, Belen is overwhelmed with regret. She tries to call out to him, but the room is completely soundproof. No matter how much she tries, he cannot hear her. Her phone is useless as well, with no signal at all. Panic sets in. Belen realizes she is truly trapped. She searches desperately for a way out, but nothing works. That night, Adrian sits alone in his room, filled with regret. At the same time, Belen breaks down inside the hidden space, regretting everything as she remains stuck with no escape. The next day, Adrian shows the farewell video to Franco and Brando. Tito is also there, providing additional context. From their perspective, this cannot be classified as a kidnapping. Franco asks if anything unusual happened between Adrian and Belen before she disappeared. Adrian denies it, claiming everything was fine. However, Tito mentions that the two had argued before. Adrian does not deny it, but quickly shuts down the conversation, insisting that what matters now is finding Belen. Meanwhile, inside the hidden room, Belen continues searching for anything that might help her escape. She goes through drawers, opens cabinets, and digs through whatever she can find. Instead of a way out, she uncovers something unexpected. Emma's husband was not an engineer as she had claimed. He was actually connected to the Nazi regime. Among the items, Belen also finds a blueprint of the room, offering her a small glimmer of hope. Belen begins trying to break through the wall, scraping at it little by little. For food, she has no choice but to survive on old rations, with no idea how long they have been there. The water is dirty, but she still drinks it just to stay alive. That night, Adrian watches Belen's farewell video again. He reflects on it quietly, wishing that she is okay. Instead of comforting her, those words only make Belen angry. To her, it sounds like he has already accepted the breakup. When Adrian goes to the bathroom to wash his face, Belen kicks the pipes. The water starts to shake, finally revealing the source of the strange disturbances. She keeps hitting the pipes, trying to send a signal, but it leads nowhere. She continues scraping the wall using a can opener, slowly wearing herself down. Things get worse when the generator inside the room breaks, cutting off her power. Then suddenly, she hears a woman's voice. It is Fabiana. From inside the hidden space, Belen realizes that Adrian is now with someone else. The next morning, while Fabiana is in the bathroom, Belen tries to communicate through the pipes. What Fabiana hears is nothing more than faint, unsettling sounds. No matter how much Belen tries, it still feels useless. Belen keeps working on the wall. The impact of her efforts causes the water in Fabiana's bathtub to shake again. Eventually, she reaches the end, but her progress is blocked by a wardrobe on the other side. Once again, her effort leads nowhere. Going back to the blueprint, Belen discovers that the room is connected to the house through the water system. There is even a valve that controls the hot water. This gives her an idea, and she decides to act. She manipulates the system, using it as a way to affect Fabiana. At the same time, she continues shouting, hoping to be heard, but Fabiana only senses something strange without understanding it. That night, Belen watches Fabiana moving around the bedroom. Then she sees something important. Fabiana finds the key to the hidden room and holds it up in front of the mirror. Belen immediately starts screaming and begging to be freed, but of course, none of it can be heard. Later that night, Fabiana suddenly collapses. The next day, Adrian receives a call from the police about the body that was found. Hearing this, Fabiana quietly reacts in a way that suggests she believes Belen might already be dead. By the afternoon, Fabiana grows restless. She wanders around the house before returning to the bathroom, still curious about the strange occurrences. This time, she fills the sink with water and tries to communicate through it. She begins asking questions and Belen responds by hitting the pipes. The vibrations in the water become a signal. If the water moves, it means yes. If it stays still, it means no. Fabiana tests this with several questions, trying to understand what is happening. At first, she believes it might be something supernatural, but when she finally mentions Belen's name, the response is immediate and strong. The water reacts clearly. Fabiana starts to realize the truth. She asks if someone is trapped, and Belen responds again through the vibrations. Slowly, Fabiana understands that Belen is inside the house, hidden behind the mirror. Following that realization, she opens the wardrobe where the mirror is placed. As she examines it, she begins to suspect that the entrance to the hidden room is right there. Inside, Belen reacts with urgency, hitting the pipes over and over. Fabiana begins searching for the entrance to the hidden room. She opens the wardrobe and pulls out the books one by one. When she finally discovers the keyhole, she hesitates. Instead of opening it, she steps back and returns to the bathroom, quietly apologizing without taking any action. Not long after, Adrian comes home. The story now returns to the present timeline. That night, Fabiana notices Adrian lost in his thoughts and tries to get close to him, but he responds coldly and pushes her away. Even Hans starts barking at her, adding to the tension. The next day, Fabiana cleans up the room, packs her things, and leaves. Around the same time, Adrian is approached by Brando, who informs him that Belen's disappearance is now officially his case. Brando also delivers a warning. He makes it clear that he does not care about Belen, but if anything happens to Fabiana, Adrian will face serious consequences. That night, Fabiana waits at the bar, hoping Adrian will show up and apologize like before. But he never comes. Disappointed, she returns to his house and goes straight to the bathroom, trying again to communicate with Belen. This time, there is no response at all. Even after filling the room with steam and attempting to leave a message, she gets nothing back. Later, Fabiana sits alone in the bedroom. Adrian eventually comes home and notices that things have been moved around. The moment passes without much confrontation. They talk briefly, then reconnect, trying to return to normal. The next day, Brando comes looking for Adrian, but he is not home. Instead, Brando leaves an envelope with Fabiana and warns her to be careful. When she opens it, she finds photos of Adrian with Victoria, taken as evidence. At the same time, Adrian is preparing for rehearsal and meets Victoria. He decides to end whatever relationship they had, choosing not to continue things any further. After seeing the photos, Fabiana finally accepts the truth about Adrian. Realizing who he really is, she makes a decision. While Adrian is away at rehearsal, she goes back to the house and opens the hidden room. Inside, she is shocked by what she finds. Belen is still there, weak and trapped. But the moment Fabiana gets close, Belen suddenly attacks her. With one decisive move, Belen escapes the room. She turns the situation around, locking Fabiana inside and taking the key. As Adrian finishes his rehearsal and heads home, Belen steps out into freedom. She listens to a voice message that reveals Emma has passed away in Germany and had plans to sell the house. Before leaving, Belen places the key to the hidden room and a photo of herself with Adrian on the mirror. Not long after, Adrian arrives home. Hans greets him and leads him to the bedroom, where he finds the key and the photo waiting for him. In the final moments, the story shifts again. Belen is seen sitting calmly by the beach, finally free. The house is now empty. Adrian is gone, and deep inside the hidden room, Fabiana remains trapped, left to face the same fate Belen once endured. So the moral of the story is never test your boyfriend with a secret bunker, because you might end up playing musical chairs with a locked room and losing badly.